talking about tenacity, because I know a little bit of your history getting out of Romania, and if that's not tenacity in action, I don't know. But can you take yourself back to that time and talk about where that courage and drive came from to leave Romania? Because this was Ceausescu's Romania.
That's right. That's right. Probably the 1980s were the years of coming of age for me, and if you need to have anything in life, you need to have hope. And that country was so hopeless. I mean, life was getting worse and worse year after year. And Ceausescu has been ruling my entire life. I mean, I was born under him, and I was 22 when I left, and he was there. He felt like this monolithic power that will rule over you and your life through him or his party or his descendants forever, and I just could not see myself living that life. The government would control everything. The government would decide how many calories you will consume, how many kilowatts of power you will consume, where you can travel, where you can live. About travel, not outside Romania, not even to other communist countries. Even that was a tremendously big bureaucratic process. So you're pretty much a virtual slave. The government will tell you where to work and how much you're going to make, whether you work hard, not hard, whether you sleep on the job. And
so what was it that made you just have to try something?
Oh, I think it came from my family. I come from a family of dissidents. My father was involved in a protest against Soviet occupation in the 50s. So I grew up with a lot of stories of this point of view that there's more in life than just listening to the government and be one of the many slaves, of the 22 million slaves, which I have no doubt that that's how the Communist Party regarded the people of Romania. And I was brought up to be a free thinker. Nobody told me to try to leave Romania because it was too much of a responsibility. I mean, you have to do it illegally, and if you get shot, no parent would want to carry that responsibility on their shoulder. But it all came from the family, that you raise up a kid to tell him that you can be a free man, other people are free people in other countries, and look, we have these friends from America, from Germany. And, that by 20, of course, I wanted that, and I was willing to put my life at risk, and I did. I ran away from Romania the first time when I was 20. I got caught in Yugoslavia and brought back. Then at 21, I ran again. I got caught by the Romanian Border Patrol, and I went for a few weeks this time in jail. The jails were so full with people running. And by the time I was 22, I made it very close to the Austrian border between Yugoslavia and Austria. A year and a half later, the United States gave me political asylum, and I arrived here. So that's the short story. It took about 2 years of my life. I learned Serbian, the language of Yugoslavia, in order to be able to cross it and not be caught again. So it was tremendous. I mean, at times I had regrets for not going to college from 20 to 20-something, but in retrospect, I think the confidence I got from that experience was better than any college education. I mean, I was able to become a free man at 22 through my own efforts and devices, and the Communist Party of Romania could not keep me into a life of misery and slavery, and that gave me tremendous confidence.
What was it like coming here to the U.S. the very first time?
I was 23 years old when I arrived here. It was the year of 1990, and remember that everybody was talking about the recession, and I was seeing these people living in oversized houses and driving Cadillacs, and the opulence and the great standard of living was just amazing here. Also, I was very well received. People were welcoming, and that meant a lot to me. I had major anxieties about being a foreigner and being in a country that's not mine, but I found the United States to be very welcoming.
But you could speak English.
Yes, I did. My parents hired me tutors when I was 7, which I absolutely hated. I saw no point at that time to find a different word for everything in the world when we have one in Romanian. So what was the? But
Was that typical? Do most Romanians learn English?
No. I was among the lucky one. I guess my father, he was farsighted, and he realized that, you know, sooner or later this garbage regime will go to hell, and knowing English will be of value, and he insisted that I took English. And yeah, I spoke English. Of course, I had a lot of trouble with the slang and the fast talking, but no, it was a great place to be. And I came in December. It was the first time I saw palm trees, and the first time I saw that it doesn't always snow in December. So I remember I went on PCH in a borrowed car, and I said, I'll never move away from here. This is the place where I want to be. It just felt right.
How do you think people of the U.S. will, I guess, reckon how they're going to fit into? Because I think some of the anxiety now for the U.S. is actually kind of like your anxiety coming here as a foreigner. Now we're taking a different position in the world. We don't know what that position is going to be, and I think it makes us anxious.
Yeah, in a way, I think that's good that we'd have a challenger. I think for too long, the American public had a very low level of interest of the world outside. I mean, most people don't have passports. Most people don't travel much. Most people don't learn a foreign language. And this concept of splendid isolation that comes again. I mean, it's a great country that produces a lot of culture on its own, a lot of movies and literary arts, and you can pretty much grow up to be oblivious to anything that happens outside the borders of the United States and outside the English language. Well, I think this is about to change, and I think it's our duty as Americans to learn about the world a lot more, because we influence the life of so many people, whether knowingly or not.
Where did you get your appreciation for the arts? Where did that come from?
It's a midlife kind of thing. Communist countries are known, and Romania was among them, to make some of the most ugliest buildings on earth. And anything that was built in my childhood was awfully rectangular and ugly, and I actually grew up without having any appreciation for the arts. The concept of being practical was raised above everything, and arts were even regarded as something dangerous because you cannot control them as well as you can pragmatic thought.
You seem to have a real sense of wonder and joy about just creativity in general.
Yes, I do, but it's a compensation for my pragmatic nature, which is still my basic nature and the most prevalent in my mind. And now I'm a pragmatist trying to make a living as an artist. But there is a lot of structure in art, and I think it's fascinating to find how creative thought, despite the fact of seeming to be so free and unbound, is still based on a lot of structure and principles.
Why did you decide to become more of a documentary filmmaker as opposed to like a narrative feature film?
That's a good question. I think life the way it is has so many untold stories, and I find it's very powerful to go on the field and find those stories and bring them to the people just the way they are. They're so true, they're so raw, they're so amazing.